Good afternoon, this is World at Noon. My name is Timile Falade. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has issued certificates of return to elected House of Assembly members in Ondo State. The 26 lawmakers-elect were elected in the March 18 House of Assembly election. INEC's Administrative Secretary in Ondo State, Oyekola Oyelami, presented the certificates to the various individuals. As early as 9 a.m., supporters, loyalists of political parties, and well-wishers began to gather at the INEC headquarters in Alagbaka to show solidarity with the elected lawmakers. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu was represented at the event as a special advisor on political and legislative matters, Jibayo Adeyeye. Leaders of the political parties and some government officials also registered their presence. In the election, the All Progressives Congress clinched 22 seats, while the People's Democratic Party got 4. Still on electoral matters, the Pan-Yoruba organization, Afenifere, has dismissed claims of rubbishing Bola Tinubu's election, maintaining that the group recognizes the former Lagos State governor as the president-elect. Afenifere leader Reuben Fashoranti said the statement is being issued because of the content of a document alleging that the results of the lawful votes at the presidential election available to the Afenifere through credible sources confirmed that Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, won the said election. Fashoranti maintained that Afenifere could not have made the assertion, given that no other person or body can declare the results of an election other than INEC, which is duly authorized by the Constitution and other extant laws of the land. According to him, Afenifere does not have the power to convene and take such far-reaching decision just at the whims of individuals. He added that Tinubu is a focused, highly principled person who is very adept in organization and in administering people, and based on his antecedent, Nigeria will breathe a new lease of life. The Department of State Services DSS says the plot to set aside the Constitution and install an interim government by alleged misguided political actors is real. DSS spokesman Peter Funaya, in a statement, vowed that the secret police will use all arsenals at their disposal to frustrate such plot. The secret police also said some key players in the plot for an interim government in Nigeria have been identified. This year, the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan coincides with the longest drought on record in Somalia. Rising food prices, poor harvests, and ongoing war are making life even more difficult.
I recall the Ramadan fast we had in the past when we were enjoying and prospering. However, this year we're living in a camp, without plastic to cover us from rain, without food to eat, thirsty, and experiencing drought.
Drought in Somalia, it is more likely that the farmers will produce less compared to the pre-drought season. That's one of the main factors for the soaring price of food and other basic commodities in Somalia. The low supply of food is mainly caused by the Russian-Ukraine conflict.
We must assist brothers and sisters who are poor and affected by the drought by providing them with food so they may break their fast. Let us increase alms and good deeds during Ramadan. Some people cannot afford to break their fast because they lack food.
The United Nations General Assembly has adopted a resolution proposed by the South Pacific nation of Vanuatu to seek an opinion from the International Court of Justice, ICJ, on what legal obligation nations are under to protect climate systems and people affected by climate change. Co-sponsored by 132 countries, the UN resolution was adopted by a consensus. The court's opinion will be non-binding but could help in future climate negotiations and lawsuits. Odwaya Sawyer reports. A historic decision that campaigners say is a major step forward for climate justice.
It is so decided.
No vote was needed. The General Assembly deciding by consensus to ask the world's highest court, the International Court of Justice, to determine what obligations countries have for the climate change they have caused.
Festering climate injustice feeds divisions and threatens to paralyze global climate action. So, Excellencies, for those on the front lines already paying the price for global heating they did nothing to cause, climate justice is both a vital recognition and a tool. Recognition that all people on our planet are of equal worth, and a tool to build resilience against spiraling climate impacts.
The efforts to negotiate this treaty were led by the Pacific island of Vanuatu.
I'm a very, very happy person because I can assure my kids and the kids around the world that the leaders of the countries of this global community are actually listening to the plight of the future of mankind.
The small island of Vanuatu suffered a devastating cyclone earlier this year, highlighting this fact that it is a country that its whole existence is threatened by climate change. The original idea came from law students studying here at the University of the South Pacific. One of them was Cynthia Hoanihi.
It's surreal. I still can't believe that we've gotten this far, and it's a testament to a lot of the determination that youths have. It's a testament to when youths are moved by genuine concern, not only for their future but the future of our generations yet to come.
At the end of the meeting, the UN Secretary General said it was a big victory, but UN insiders say even though this resolution passed by consensus, there are some major countries which have a problem with it, and they expect some national submissions to the International Court of Justice in an effort to narrow the eventual ruling of the judges. Odunayo Sawyer, Osrc News. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says a compromise on his controversial judicial reform could be possible. The proposal has sparked the biggest protest in the nation's history. Critics fear the changes will harm the independence of the judiciary. U.S. President Joe Biden is urging Netanyahu to abandon the plan, but Netanyahu says Israel will not bow to international pressure.
Well, and the United States have had their occasional differences. But I want to assure you that the alliance between the world's greatest democracy and a strong, proud, and independent democracy, Israel, in the heart of the Middle East, is unshakable. Nothing can change that.
It shocked Netanyahu himself. He didn't see it coming, as it were. I think he was too arrogant and believed that his relationship with Biden is so close that the American president wouldn't do that to him. But there's a gathering storm in Washington and in America in general, not just because the administration is upset with the fact that Netanyahu is doing what Netanyahu is doing, along with a whole number of fanatics and fascists in his coalition government, but because the American Jewish leadership doesn't like what's happening in Israel. They don't like this fanatic, ultra-Orthodox coalition in Israel that doesn't even recognize Reform Judaism, conservative Judaism that makes the majority of American Jews. They don't recognize them as Jewish. So American Jewish community is quite upset, and now Biden is upset, and so there's the rebuke of the Israeli government. What he's trying to do is to get a legislative where it sidelines the Supreme Court and limits the power of the judiciary so that he and his cronies can legislate any law of any kind that basically will keep him on top and keep him more like an autocrat than a democrat.
The replica of the biggest known dinosaur ever to roam the earth